Have you ever felt it? That strange wave of energy during a full moon, like something inside you is stirring even if the world outside seems calm. Maybe it starts as restlessness, a deep emotion you can't quite name, or a sudden urge to cry, laugh, or even run into the night just to breathe in the air under the moonlight. And yet no one around you seems to notice. They carry on, scrolling through their phones, lost in their routines, while you feel everything. If that's you, let me tell you something you were never meant to forget. The full moon isn't just a phase in the sky. It's a cosmic pulse, a message from the universe sent straight to your soul. And if you're here, listening, it's not by chance. Maybe you've always sensed things others ignore. Maybe you've walked through life carrying emotions that didn't quite belong to the moment, or dreams that felt more like memories. Maybe you've woken up at 3:33 a.m. on nights like this, heart racing, not knowing why. You felt it too, haven't you? That something sacred is trying to reach you, and now here you are, listening not with your ears but with your spirit. You're not alone. I've been there. I know what it's like to stand under the full moon and feel like it's watching you, like it sees into your soul. I remember the nights I couldn't sleep, when my emotions poured through me like tides pulled by something I couldn't explain. At first I thought I was just sensitive, or tired, or maybe even broken. But I was wrong. I wasn't broken, I was awakening. And maybe you are too. Because what if I told you that every time the moon reaches its fullest light, something sacred is trying to illuminate within you too? That heaviness you feel, it's not random. That sudden clarity or that overwhelming sadness, that forgotten memory that rises to the surface out of nowhere. Those aren't coincidences. They're invitations. The full moon is a mirror, not just in the sky, but in your life. It shines light on what you've buried, what you're ready to release, and what the universe needs you to finally see. But most people never pause long enough to listen. You have. Right now, in this moment, you're listening with something deeper than logic. You're tuning into the language of the soul, and I want you to know, truly know, that this moment is sacred. You were guided here for a reason, because there's something the full moon has been trying to tell you. Something it's whispered. Before, in your emotions, your dreams, the way your body reacts around this time of the month. But now the universe wants you to finally hear it. You're not going crazy. You're not overreacting. You're remembering. The full moon doesn't cause chaos, it reveals it. And that's what makes it so powerful. It's when the energy of the month reaches its peak. It brings clarity, truth, and sometimes discomfort, because truth often does. But it also brings healing, the kind that starts quietly, deep beneath the surface. And if you've always felt like you lose control around the full moon, emotionally, energetically, I want you to see that as a spiritual sign. Not a flaw, not something to hide. You are sensitive for a reason. Your soul chose to be in tune with the divine rhythms most ignore. You were made to feel more because you're meant to understand more. And if this resonates, if your heart is nodding even as your mind searches for explanation, stay with me, because what you're about to hear might shift your soul forever. The moon, your emotions, your purpose, it's all connected. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to share the truth that changed everything for me. The truth about what the full moon is really doing to your energy, your healing process, and even your destiny. But first, take a breath, because the universe had one more sign to show you before it began this conversation. You're not just watching a video. You're answering a call, a divine one. So let's begin. Are you ready to remember what your soul already knows? So have you ever noticed how your body and emotions seem to know the full moon is coming, even before you see it in the sky? You might wake up already feeling different, more raw, more sensitive, more attuned. Something in your chest feels tight, or maybe you feel a strange burst of energy just when you're supposed to be resting. Your thoughts become louder, your past closer, and all of it seems to rise without warning, like a wave that's been building in silence, only now crashing in full force. That's not random. The full moon amplifies whatever's been hiding within. You, and that includes your pain, your healing, your intuition, your truth. But most people try to suppress it. They push it down, medicate it, distract themselves. They treat these emotional stirrings as inconveniences, when in reality, They are divine messages in disguise, messages the universe has been sending to you because you're ready to receive them. You see, full moons have always been portals, not just in a poetic sense, but spiritually, energetically. Our ancestors knew this. They honored the moon as sacred. They understood that its energy influenced not just the oceans, but the human soul. Women cycled with it. Healers planned rituals around it. Shamans listened to its silence and found the wisdom buried within. But in our modern world, we forgot. Until you. Because you're remembering, aren't you? You're starting to notice that your emotions carry meaning, that your energy isn't random, that maybe, just maybe, what you feel is part of something bigger, something divine. And this is where the moon becomes more than a light in the sky. It becomes your ally, your reflector, your soul's reminder. Let me ask you this. Have you ever had a relationship end around the time of a full moon, or had a truth suddenly revealed, something you weren't expecting but couldn't ignore? Have you ever written in your journal during the full moon and realized something about yourself you had never seen before? That's the moon doing what it does best, pulling tides not just in oceans, but in you. One story I'll never forget came from a woman named Elise. She was a quiet empath, always feeling more than she could explain. Every full moon she'd feel exhausted, emotional and overwhelmed. At first she thought she was just being too sensitive. But one night, during a full moon in Scorpio, something shifted. She felt a powerful need to write a letter to her father, someone she hadn't spoken to in years. There was no trigger, just a deep intuitive push that said, now. That letter became her healing. It cracked something open, and later she discovered that her father had been thinking of her that same exact night, and even whispered her name in his sleep. How do you explain that? You don't, with logic, but your soul understands. Because the full moon connects what's been separated. It brings light to the places you've left in shadow. And here's where the divine suspense begins. Because sometimes the full moon doesn't just bring clarity, it brings disruption. Necessary disruption. And if your life feels like it's been unraveling during these lunar cycles, I want you to hear this with your heart wide open. It's not falling apart. It's realigning. You're being asked to let go. To release identities, patterns, relationships, even dreams, things that once served you but no longer do. The full moon is the universe's way of saying, you can't carry this into your next chapter. And that's where many people resist. They feel the shift. They feel the pressure, but instead of surrendering, they cling. And the more they cling, the more painful the release becomes, but not you. You're learning how to trust the letting go, because you know, deep down, that something better, more aligned, more whole, is waiting on the other side of surrender. Still, the process is sacred, and sometimes it's messy. Old emotions rise. You might cry for no reason. You might feel alone, even when surrounded by people. But in those moments, you're not alone. You're in ceremony with the universe. You're standing in the sacred fire of transformation, and this is what most people never talk about, because spiritual growth isn't always beautiful in the beginning. It's uncomfortable. It asks you to stretch beyond who you've been, and during a full moon, that stretch becomes unavoidable. You'll feel it in your chest, your dreams, your silence, and maybe you're feeling it now. If so, stay with me, because what you're about to hear next, it might be the exact message your soul has been waiting for. The moon, your emotions, your purpose, they're not separate. They're part of the same sacred cycle. And in the next part, we'll dive even deeper into the ancient wisdom behind the full moon and the divine reason it stirs your spirit in ways you can't always explain. So before we move forward, I'll ask you this. What is the full moon trying to show you right now? Don't rush the answer. Let it rise. Because the next revelation will only make sense once you open that space inside of you. Are you ready? Because the moon isn't done with you yet. There's something no one ever tells you about awakening. It doesn't happen all at once. It comes in waves, and just like the moon, some nights you feel on fire, like the universe is pouring light into your spirit. Other nights, you feel lost, in the dark, unsure of who you are or what you're becoming, but both are sacred. Both are part of your soul's rhythm, and the full moon, she brings that rhythm to the surface, because the moon doesn't only reveal the truth, she asks you to feel it, and that's where most people hesitate, because feeling, truly feeling, means letting go of control. It means surrendering to what's been buried, the grief, the anger, the forgotten dreams, the parts of yourself you silenced long ago. Have you done that? Locked a part of yourself away just to survive? Maybe it was the version of you who believed in magic, the part that danced without shame, the child in you that trusted love fully, or the voice that said, "I'm meant for something more." And now, under the full moon's gaze, that part of you is stirring again, because this moon isn't here to punish you. It's here to pull your truth back to the surface, and when you ignore that call, it doesn't go away. It just waits. But if you're still listening now, I believe you're ready to stop waiting. You're ready to feel again. And maybe to forgive. Forgive the version of yourself that stayed small to be accepted. Forgive the choices you made in fear. Forgive the emotions you pushed down, telling yourself to be strong. The moon doesn't want your perfection. She wants your honesty, your vulnerability, your raw, beautiful humanness. Because when the full moon rises, it's not just the light outside that increases. It's the light within, the soul light. The one that says, "It's time, let it go, you are safe now." And it's in that surrender that miracles happen. There's a story that stays with me about a man named Jordan. He wasn't spiritual. He didn't follow astrology. He never really paid attention to the moon. But after his mother passed, something changed. Every full moon he'd dream of her, vivid emotional dreams. In one, she stood in a field under a glowing moon and whispered to him, "I'm still with you. But you have to keep going now." It happened again and again, always during the full moon. Eventually, he couldn't ignore it. He started researching, journaling, asking questions he'd never dared ask before, and in that process, he began healing. The moon became his guide, not just to his grief, but to his purpose. Now he leads healing circles for others who've experienced loss. He never thought he'd be here, but the moon did, because that's how the divine works. It doesn't shout. It whispers, and the full moon is one of its loudest whispers. So if you've been feeling emotionally full, like you're carrying too much, like your heart can't hold it all anymore, maybe that's because the moon is asking you to release it, to pour it out, to cry, to write, to scream into the wind if you must, not because you're weak, but because you're ready to live lighter, softer, freer. And here's something else many people don't realize. The full moon is a powerful time for spiritual connection. This is when messages from your guides, angels, and ancestors come through most clearly, not just in signs, but in feelings, that sudden chill on your skin. The feathers, numbers, or songs you keep seeing, the face you dream of after months of silence, these aren't accidents. They're love letters from the beyond, and you, yes, you, have the ability to receive them more clearly than ever under this energy. But to do that, you have to slow down. Get quiet and listen. The moon speaks in silence. It doesn't demand, it invites. So tonight, or the next time her light touches your window, I want you to ask, what do I need to release? What am I finally ready to feel? And wait. The answer may come as a memory, a word, a tear, a sudden knowing that seems to arrive from nowhere. That is your sacred intuition awakening. It's always been there. But now with the moon as your mirror, it becomes visible. And this is where you begin to transform, not because someone told you how, but because your soul remembered what it always knew, that you are not broken, you are blooming, you are not falling apart. You are falling into alignment, and you're not alone in this. The universe is with you. The moon is watching. And your next spiritual revelation is just moments away. Because in the next part of our journey, we'll go into the sacred twist, the deeper truth behind why the full moon impacts you, the way it does, and what it means for your soul's path from here forward. Are you ready for that? Then stay close. Because the real reason you feel different during the full moon is about to be revealed. There's a reason your soul stirs when the moon is full. It's not just emotion. It's not just energy, it's memory. Somewhere, deep within you, in a place beyond time, your soul remembers the ancient rhythm of the universe. You've felt this before, across lifetimes, across dimensions, and every time the full moon returns, it's not just light returning to the night sky. It's your own remembering rising. Have you felt that, like you've been here before, not in this exact life, but this exact energy? Like something inside you whispers, this moment matters. That's because the full moon is a spiritual return, a reunion, a portal through which your higher self steps forward and says, this is the truth. And the truth, Yunwar, is this. The full moon affects you so deeply because you are meant to be transformed by it. You're not just reacting to energy. You're in ceremony with it. You're not just emotional. You're being initiated. The full moon calls your soul to the surface. She doesn't just light up the sky. She lights up the parts of you you've buried, the parts you said you'd deal with later, the emotions you said were too much, the intuition you silenced to survive, and now, all of it is rising again. Not to overwhelm you, but to set you free, because freedom only comes when the truth is no longer denied. That's why you feel different during the full moon, because the version of you that's trying to emerge can't be born in silence. It needs light. It needs release. It needs honesty. And the moon gives you all of that, whether you ask for it or not. The mistake most people make is trying to cope with the full moon. They blame it for the chaos, the confusion, the intensity. But what if instead of asking, why is this happening to me, you asked, what is trying to be revealed through me? That question changes everything. Because the truth is, full moons are spiritual flashlights. They shine into the corners of your life where you've left things unfinished, conversations unsaid, emotions unfelt, dreams unlived, and the moon doesn't do this to hurt you. She does it to heal you. You came here, to this life, in this time, with a purpose. And every full moon is a reminder of that. A sacred checkpoint that says, are you aligned with your truth, or are you still hiding from it? I know it's not easy. Awakening never is. Sometimes it means letting go of people who feel like home, but don't hold your soul. Sometimes it means walking into the unknown with nothing but a whisper from within. Sometimes it means grieving parts of yourself you didn't even know were gone, until the light showed you. But that grief, that uncertainty, it's the path to becoming, and right now, in this moment, you are in that becoming. Can you feel it? That quiet urgency in your chest? That knowing that says, something in me has shifted, even if I can't name it yet. That's the soul. That's the truth rising with the moon. Because here is the sacred twist. The deeper truth the universe wants you to understand. The moon doesn't change you. She reveals you. She reveals the real you, the one beneath the masks, beneath the fear, beneath the timelines others placed on your life. And once you see yourself, truly see yourself, you can never go back to who you were. That is the gift and the cost of spiritual awakening. You become sovereign, you become luminous, you become you. And from that place, that raw, radiant truth, you begin to create differently. You begin to speak, love, move, trust, and dream differently, not from the wounded self, but from the whole self. And every full moon after that becomes a sacred mirror, a check-in, a soul altar. So if you felt like you've been unraveling, falling apart, or losing control under the full moon, I want you to see now that it's the opposite. You're not breaking down. You're breaking open. You're remembering who you are, and that memory, that soul truth, is what the universe has been trying to deliver to you all along, through dreams, through emotions, through signs in the sky and whispers in your chest. And now, you've heard it. And that changes everything. Because once you understand that the full moon is not your enemy, but your greatest ally, you stop fearing the shifts and you start honoring them, and that is when your real power begins. So as we move toward our final chapter, I want to leave you with this one divine question. What part of you are you ready to see when full light? Because when you answer that, the moon will answer you back. She always does. Take a deep breath with me and exhale slowly. You've made it through something most people never do. You didn't turn away from the discomfort. You didn't numb it. You didn't run from the emotions the full moon brought forward. You stayed. You listened, and somewhere inside you, something shifted. Maybe it was subtle, a quiet realization, or maybe it was loud, a release, a cry, a moment where your whole chest cracked open. Either way, your soul was listening, and that changes everything, because once you honor the energy of the full moon, not as something mystical or woo-woo, but as a living, breathing, spiritual companion, you step into alignment with something ancient, something sacred, something that belongs to you. So now I ask you gently, what has the full moon shown you this time? Was it a pattern you finally saw clearly? Was it an old dream you're ready to bring back to life? Was it grief you didn't know was still living in your bones? Whatever it was, hold it gently. You don't need to fix it all at once. The moon doesn't rush. She waxes and wanes. She teaches us that cycles are not setbacks. They are sacred timing. And your life, dear soul, is moving exactly as it should. You don't need to catch up. You don't need to know what comes next. You just need to trust what's being revealed now. Because here's the truth most people miss. Awakening isn't something you chase. It's something you allow. You allow the feelings. You allow the insights. You allow the energy to rise, swirl, and soften. You allow the remembering to arrive when it's ready, not when your ego demands it. And tonight, or whatever night this message finds you, you are in that allowing. You are in sacred flow. You're not late. You're not lost. You're just opening. And there is so much beauty in that. So let this be your invitation. When the next full moon rises, don't just look at it. Sit with it. Let it see you. Let it speak to you. Let it pull out of you everything you've been pretending not to feel. And then, just for a moment, whisper back. Whisper your truth. Whisper your fear. Whisper your next becoming. Because the full moon doesn't just want to shine on your life. She wants to co-create with you. She wants to see your intentions. She wants to hold your healing. She wants to remind you that you too are a body of light that moves through phases, and none of them make you less worthy. Not the shrinking, not the silence, not the unraveling. All of it is holy, and so are you. Now, before this moment ends, I want you to do one small thing for your soul. Ask yourself right now, what do I no longer want to carry into my next chapter? Let the answer come softly. Don't force it. Maybe it's a thought, a habit, a person, a belief about yourself that no longer fits. And then release it. You don't have to know how. The moon will help. You just have to be willing. Because the truth is, your soul didn't bring you here by accident. This message found you because something inside you has already begun to shift. You are remembering your own rhythm. You are becoming the version of you that was buried under fear, doubt, and forgetting. And if this story has held you tonight, if it has sparked something inside you, I want you to know, you are not alone. There are thousands of others, just like you, who are awakening in the moonlight. And if you feel called para some, I invite you to share in the comments below. What is the moon revealing to you right now? Drop an emoji if your soul resonated with this. Share your release, your truth, your next step. Let it be seen, because the moment you speak it, you claim it. And if you want more spiritual messages like this, signs, stories, sacred truths you can feel, make sure you subscribe. This is a space for the seekers, the feelers, the ones who always knew there was more. This is your soul's homecoming, and we're just getting started. So tonight, when the moonlight touches your skin, close your eyes and remember, you're not being pulled apart. You're being pulled into purpose. You're not feeling too much. You're finally feeling you. And the full moon, she was never just light in the sky. She was your mirror. Now shine.